Hello, my name is Leon. I'm from Event 720 in the Wooden Toy Co. And today I'm going to do an instructional video on how to assemble our Large Pikler Triangle. Now this video will be equally relevant depending on if you bought the indoor or the outdoor model. So yeah, I'm going to get straight into it. Once you open up your package, basically what you should have inside, and if you don't, contact us, two sides of the Pikler. These are both identical. One's got a logo, one doesn't. You will have 15 dowels. You have 31 M6 25mm furniture screws or bolts, and a 4mm Allen key, as well as some assembly instructions. So, what we basically want to do when assembling the Large Pikler is, and this goes for any of our products as well. Essentially what you want to do is you want to fit all the dowels off to one side first, as best you can, and tighten them up, and then you can connect to the other side and then tighten them in. With this and all our other products as well, you'll see the inside of these pieces is identified by the larger 26mm recess around the small hole that goes through all the way through the actual piece of plywood. This is where the dowels themselves fit inside. This is really important, and if for whatever reason after you finish the Pikler is sitting a bit crooked and it's not sitting flat, 9 times out of 10 this is what the issue is. There'll be a dowel that hasn't gone into the slot correctly, so therefore it makes that dowel 3mm longer than the other dowels, which twists everything, and then that causes it to not sit flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top, and we're going to just dowel in. So we position it inside the groove, the recess, to start with. Use the Allen key. We're going to tighten this all the way up. I like to use the Allen key like this, and then I basically do it as tight as I can with the short end. Because this is so big and we've got so many dowels, what I will do is I will literally just position this roughly in place and do 2 or 3 screws, so it's completely not connected, but they're basically holding each other up. So that's going to allow me to, and I'm going to go through and do the same thing. The right hand side, we're going to start at the top and work our way down, and then towards the back, and we're going to do them up as firm as we can on my right, and then we'll keep them all loose and just put a screw to keep them holding there on the left, and then once we've done one side fully, we'll go back and we'll tighten them all off. So basically that slides in there. As you can see, I've literally done 2 or 3 turns on this side. This side's screwed all the way in. It's tightened up. 2 screws. Dowels in the hole. Then we can start kind of start as loosely putting things into position. It can be a bit quicker if you do multiple dowels at once, and then you can just start a couple. Come back and tighten these in. So as you're tightening these, you should be able to feel, as long as need to make sure that it stays aligned on this side, and then as it tightens up, you'll be able to see and feel the dowel slide into the plywood, into that recess. So, as you're seeing here, I've actually tightened this one here just a touch too much. So as you can kind of see there, I've manhandled that into the recess to make sure that it's seating correctly on that end, and then this end I'm just roughly lining up and doing half a turn. The main thing when we're installing the dowels is we just need to be careful to not wave the dowel around too much when the screw's tight on this side, because basically all that movement is going onto where the fixing is, and that's what can weaken and loosen that fixing. Okay, so we've got the front done. Actually, I'll just continue from there. Top down. Once again, we're just tightening this side, making sure that we don't over tighten, but basically we're just tightening until it's firm and the dowel has stopped pulling into the plywood. Now, if you've purchased a large Pikler in one of our packs, so it's come with another set of climbing equipment, basically this process and this system is utilised throughout all of our climbing range with the utilised dowels. So you can basically employ the same tactics whereby you fit them off on one side first, tightening them all on, or tightening them all up, sorry, to finished tension, and then you move to the other side to finish the job. This is actually a really good triangle in that there's a significant amount of texture and colour variation in the timber. Merb is a pretty consistent colour normally, but this is a beautiful set where it's got really tight grains, really straight grains, a little bit of everything. So it kind of really gives you a good appreciation of essentially what timber toys are like. You get that natural aspect. It's not all just consistent and the same like plastic. All right, so now all the screws on this side are tightened and we're happy with how tight they are. As you can see, everything is loose on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top to tighten, and then basically we need to just holding this piece of plywood and pushing them in. We're going to just seat these dowels roughly in, and you'll kind of see you kind of have to go through all of them, and you'll see there's typically one that'll be holding the others from dropping in. But what you want to do is basically just this side you won't be able to tighten all the way initially like this side, because we've obviously, this one's lined up, but all of these other ones are holding it out. So you need to just slowly tighten these up while aligning them to the point where you're basically just doing it tight and then half a turn once it's aligned, so they won't pop back out of the groove, but not too tight in that we're trying to effectively bend the plywood if the next run is not lined up, like this one I'm working on here. So then we just slowly just keep working through. Spin this to make it a little bit easier. So at this point, this half of this side has all the dowels correctly aligned with the recesses. However, they are not all tight as yet. Now I've just got to go through and do the back side of this piece of plywood. And as you can see, we're literally just lining it up on one side and then taking the slack out the other. All right, now they're all lined up. So now basically what we want to do is now we go through and tighten these up. I find it's actually doing this way, it's actually easier to spin the Allen key around and use the short end in. And then basically what you want to do is you want to be looking on the inside. As you tighten these now, you will see the dowel pull into the plywood, and basically it's quite firm at this point. So you want to just turn the screw until you see the dowel, and you'll feel the dowel hit the back of the plywood, and then you'll see that as soon as you see the dowel stop moving, you kind of just want to do like a quarter of a turn more, and then that's sufficient. And then we can kind of just start from the bottom and work our way up and over. Once you've got a couple done and you've started, what you'll see start happening is it'll be tightening the dowel or pulling the dowels into the recess on more than just the hole that you're working on. It will also be jumping. So this one, for example, I can actually see it pulling this one and this one in at the same time. So as you go up, all these screws that I've already tightened up, a lot of these are actually finger tight loose again now, because the plywood's really strong and not flexible plywood. So it's, instead of flexing, it's just pulling itself in. So as you'll see, I'm making sure that whilst I'm screwing on the outside, I'm looking on the inside to see that dowel going in, and then to stop when it's tight. And that is the Large Pikler assembled. As you can see, by assembling it upright, all four corners have been on the ground the whole time, and it's very stable, and it's been assembled nice and square. So this can now be used in any flat surface, and it's fine. It hasn't been assembled crooked at all. And yeah, it's ready to play. So we always recommend keep the Allen key safe. Over time, these screws can become loose depending on how they're played with. If they do, it's obviously a case of just tightening them up quickly, and then it's fine to go again. If you do misplace it, it's a 4mm Allen key. You can go and buy them from Bunnings or any hardware store quickly and easily. And then the last thing is, inside the packet you will have seen a happy playing card. What we'd love you to do is, on the back there's all our social media handles. We'd love you to take some photos of our products in use and tag us so we can see your kids enjoying them. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.